Hey everyone, for those who don't know me, you can just call me AJ for the sake of this video. I am currently undergoing oral chemotherapy. It is called the CapTem protocol. A lot of people who have neuroendocrine tumors and or breast cancer might be using this form of chemotherapy treatment to help eradicate cancer cells in the body. It has a very intense and long half-life in the body as well, so the effects of it linger after taking the pills for quite a bit. It is, however, considered one of the gentler type of chemotherapies. I am currently on my fifth cycle, or second, what is my second round. So my first round was 3 cycles. My second and final round is also going to be 3 cycles, and I'll have done 6 total. I'm on my 4th day, and I just did another video which had me like snot crying and really emotional, which is authentic, and this video is equally authentic, just maybe with a little less stuff pouring from my face. I'm really struggling today. Like, today really fucking sucks. Pardon my language, but that's just how it feels. Every cell in my body hurts, like scratching my head like that and holding my phone and sitting upright is such a challenge today. Every single cell in my body is basically screaming and in pain, and I'm having a hard time mentally, like gearing back up, and I keep thinking about other people who might be undergoing similar treatments or more intense treatments, and how dark it can get even for somebody who works really hard to like be joy and live joy and cultivate joy, while also knowing that like things are really hard and life requires a lot of resilience. And yet I'm burnt out. Today I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through 10 more days of this, how I'm gonna get through one more course, one more cycle. How am I gonna make it up the stairs to use the bathroom, or across the kitchen to use the one down here? Like, I'm burnt out, like these are the kind of things that I'm fighting with. And I had this moment where it just feels like, and I believe that based on the science of this medication, that cells in my body just are dying off. The whole point of this is to eradicate and kill cancer cells, but chemotherapy doesn't just impact cancer cells. It also impacts healthy cells. And I just had this moment of like, I understood collective consciousness. Incidentally, yesterday was the primaries here in Massachusetts, and it's like this idea of how every cell in my body feels impacted by this chemotherapy, how I ache, and how the cells in my foot are in some way dying off, right? Or like being less healthy. And I'm constantly rerouting this belief system in my head, but there is so much darkness there. Like, my body is in a state with this medication that it feels like, you know what? We're gonna die. Let's just accept it and be in this place of radical acceptance of, in the same way that when we were birthed, we got to the point where we just had to be like, you know what, now it's time to do it. And I'm not going to act on it. I'm not suicidal. I'm not having ideation of like planning out. But, it's also developmentally appropriate for a cancer patient at this point of their diagnosis as well to question, especially when on chemotherapy. So, hey, I'm normal, everyone. But I feel like it's important to talk about this, to talk about the way that, we're navigating through platitudes of hang in there, you can do this, or you've got this. And when you're on chemotherapy, the last thing that you believe some moments is that you've got this. You start to wonder, am I doing something that makes absolutely no sense? AKA like fighting the cancer in my body. You start to wonder, why am I waking up each morning and thinking that, okay, I'm going to live, when every cell in your body is like, now's a good time to like die because you're being attacked, and your immune system has been depleted. But you do it, whatever your fuel is. And unfortunately, some people, they don't make it through, and they're not okay. And there are moments that I don't feel very okay. And however, I just keep moving through and, remembering that there have been many moments of my life where I felt a different kind of not okay. And I made it through on the other side. And I just would invite you that if you know anyone who is going through chemotherapy, or even chronic health issues, before being diagnosed, it was also really hard. But definitely this chemotherapy, I feel like there's a physiological response in my body that is like triggering the psychological. And I feel like one of the best thing, if you're wondering what you can do for someone who is going through chemotherapy, I would say that even just coming over for a cup of tea and being there, being willing to, if there are dishes in the sink, just grab the sponge and clean it. Don't ask, would you like me to do your dishes? The dishes are going to need to be done. Or if you're able and willing to help with the laundry, ask, where do you keep your laundry basket? And using language that shows that you're willing to support and that they don't have to ask, that they don't have to be adding something else to their psychological load, especially if they're not an asker. If there's somebody who, it's certainly respecting if there are boundaries and consent and the person is like, I do not want you folding my socks. Hear that, I have a friend who for a while really honored that, and now I feel like they can fold my socks, but it took such a long time to get there, and they would say, okay, I won't fold the socks, but I could at least put the laundry in the washing machine. And these are ways that, we're going to fight with how we feel about it and how it makes us feel like we have changed and how, quote unquote, we can't do it all ourselves, or we're losing parts of ourselves. And these are all true. Like, there are days I have lost my capacity to do the dishes. And you know what? That's okay. Because maybe you are gaining the capacity to have a moment in the future where you could do the dishes where you weren't going to be able to. And that's why we do this, right? That's the hope. The hope is that there's a future where there are many more dishes for us to clean, many more loads of laundry. And so for now, when we cancer patients and those on chemotherapy or going through treatment for a chronic illness, where, you know what, we don't have to be the person who washes the dishes. And that's a hell of a lesson to learn, you know? But there's going to be a day, you know, at least we hope and we pray, and whatever it is, whatever our connection is to hope, whether that is a higher power or just like the idea that maybe we'll be around for our child's first kiss, you know? And that's what we need to be doing right now. That's our job. Our job right now is to be the people who are navigating that story that let's just give up. And we're conduits, you know, we're transmuting that into the story of there's going to be a future and we can do this. And right now, it's okay if I don't wash the dishes. You know, and I think that there's also something about being willing to listen and just be there. Even if you don't know someone all that well, you know, to sit and to talk and to have these conversations that maybe we need to have too, you know. There are times where I want to talk about what my end of life care might look like. And maybe your experience with your dad 4 years ago or your mom last year is going to be so helpful for me into creating my wishes, making them known so that my loved ones, whenever they may have to cross that point in life, know that I love them and I want the most gentle, caring way. Or maybe you have experience with navigating the school system around getting accommodations for children, or maybe you know about the soccer coach and why he doesn't like certain things, and you know that you learn that he hates the color red, so he's always a little angry. You know, like there are things that, even though I have cancer and I am laying on the bed, hating the fact that I have hands and feet because they are in excruciating pain, that also, like, the memory that life still goes on, you know, and to, like, have someone talk to me like I'm still just a person and not just my disease. It's a really big thing, you know, like, my disease is part of who I am, but so isn't that weird mole on my foot, and so aren't my eyes, and I just, I don't know really what my intention for this video really is, other than to just bring you some real moments with somebody who is in the throes of chemotherapy. I recognize that mine is more gentle than some people experience, but it's still pretty crappy. You know, like, no one wants to feel like this on the daily. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So whatever that might be, you know, just do your best all to kind of show up in the world, make time for the people that you love and you care about, or those that even you don't know that well, but you always wish that you could have gotten to know better. You know, find ways to just connect with people, because that's what's going to matter in the end. It's not going to matter who's our president. It's not going to matter, you know, who the prime minister is of another country. What really matters is, are you seeing the people that you know and that you care about? Are you building community? Are you finding ways to connect with other people? That's what matters right now. And I really just want to also shout out to the people who are showing up in that way for me. To the friends who come over and just sit and have tea, and those who, are quickly doing a load of laundry. Like, those are all wonderful things. But, there are moments, real valuable moments, in just sitting with someone and knowing them. And, make sure that you don't live a life where, towards the end you find yourself saying, I wish I had spent more time with, or I wish I had found more time to. Find that time now, and remember that life is now, it's not tomorrow. All right. Much love to all of you, to those of you who may have watched this thing in its entirety. We're in it.